for today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be.
But I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go. So I can
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it. Does the news scare you in the morning? I actually take my phone and plug it in outside of my bed because I know that when I pick it up first thing in the morning, that more often than not, what I'm swiping is not good news. Some of us have forgotten that we can actually use the most powerful tool we have called choice to choose whether to listen to the news or not, or where we get our news. So that's why I'm so delighted to invite you to my show, 8 a.m. every weekday morning, called Take My Advice. I'm Not Using.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. And of course, my YouTube channel, where those of you who would like to interact with me today, especially as we talk about Roe versus Wade, not in an angry rhetoric, crazy frothing at the mouth, but even though you have every right to be really super pissed off, I want to move us from that debilitating anger that will eat away at our immune system and turn the corner into solutions. So that's what we're doing today by looking at the facts, by looking at best case scenario, not worst case scenario. So I'd love to have people who are wanting to hashtag be the change, but in a let's see, in a reactionary, knee jerk. There's a reason why they call knee jerk, because you sometimes will become a jerk in the passion that you're expressing. So, me, always trying to balance out that negative news with some positive news, not sticking my head in the sand. We are going to talk about it, but I want to point out some things and also learn with you what is actually going on, what it does impact, instead of just looking at people's posts who are focused on one thing and going down that worst case scenario. So that's today's topic. And I'm grateful that we do start every show with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So having breakfast with me, and today is no exception. I hope you have had a great weekend outside of all those things. I did some on location for Pride festivals, as well as found some good information that I'll bring to you tomorrow for my on location Tuesday. But let's start with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And if you are here and I see eyeballs already, please do chat and say good morning and give me one thing that you're grateful for as we take a bite of the gratitude sandwich. So I'm grateful for that. Let's see, when I look outside right now, it is like heaven. I'll flip the camera around so you can see. It's literally very foggy and cloudy, which looks like I'm stepping out 11 floors into heaven. And I love foggy days for contrast. I'm grateful that I live in Southern California where it's almost always sunny. That's 2. I'm grateful that I have now lost 26.8 pounds. And that was even with 2 weeks of not working out because of the broken toes. I'm grateful that I got thanked this morning by a gentleman, and I'm so bad with names, but he thanked me for the commentary that I made yesterday to advertise for this show today, because I wanted to, bring the positive side of what's going on. And his name is William Michael Maisel. Thank you so much for that comment. I'm grateful that I was recognized for my Happy 88 mission this weekend by some folks from DC. I'm grateful that I got to spend time with my 89-year-old bonus mom and 92-year-old bonus dad watching hockey. And I'm grateful that Colorado won the Stanley Cup. Woohoo! Hockey fans. I was never a hockey fan, but my dad loves it, so I've learned how to like that. So that is the top of the bun, gratitude sandwich. If you have not done your gratitudes this morning, I would highly recommend it. I promise if you do, you will start your day in the most positive way. And then the bottom of the bun are 8 things that you appreciate about yourself. So instead of scrolling through any more negative news, I want you to turn your spotlight, your focus on yourself. And what are 4 things that you like about yourself? And I'll do 4 things and that'll complete the 8. So one thing that I like about myself is that I can turn lemons into lemonade. 2, that I can turn bruised bananas into banana bread. Same principle, but I like to be creative. That's one thing I like. I like to joke around, and because laughter is my favorite sound on the planet. And then lastly, I'm grateful that I have a Blissipline. Hashtag Blissipline. That's my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, who's the founder of Agape, where I get my positive roots watered and my peace of mind fertilized. And that Blissipline is to get mad. And then before getting even, I take that breath and I ask, if this circumstance is exactly what it is, what is it that I am to learn, grow, expand, develop in this circumstance? So I want us all to ask that question right now. Most of my listeners are from California, which is a blue state. I do have listeners actually in the red states as well. And what I wanted to do today when we come back from break is break down and learn some history and get educated about Roe versus Wade, and then turn our angry rhetoric into some actionable, inspired action as we focus on reversing Roe versus Wade. That's when we come back here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. you happy 88% of the time? Do you worry about your family? Are you tired of being sick and tired? Do you wake up feeling like you just want to stay in bed? No thanks to the pandemic. A lot of people are feeling that way, and it's become a habit. Hi, this is Dr. Marissa reporting live with your Mental Health Minute, because I want you to feel better right now. We have a very powerful mind, and when we are determined not to feel good, we will not feel good. And the good news is, when we are determined to choose happiness, we actually can. One of the best tools to do this is first thing in the morning when you wake up, even before you go brush your teeth, is to just connect with your breath. So you wake up, sit up, and take a deep breath in through the nose and release through the mouth. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in and releasing all the stories and the drama. And another deep breath in, connecting with life with a capital L, and realizing that the planets did not crash into each other last night. You are alive. You have the opportunity in this day coming forward to laugh, to learn, to care, to respect, to hold, to honor, to create, to innovate, to wonder, to read, to watch. All possibilities. And when we begin to discipline our minds, then we also begin to feel better. That's the power of your mind. I call it the ch word. It's not the C word, it's the ch word. Choice is the most powerful tool that we have as human beings. And I know when bad things happen to good people, like the pandemic, it can cause us to forget that we have a choice today and every day. This is Dr. Marissa with your
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where I see the eyeballs. Thank you for joining me live, and you are welcome to chat. And I actually put the studio link in, so if you'd like to be on camera and come and learn and see what we can do to change Roe versus Wade, if that is where you are leaning. I know that I live in a blue state, which I'm grateful for, and I normally try to get you not to feel blue, but unfortunately, the map that we're going to go through right now looks like it's getting way more red, and I don't want you to see red, but I do want you to work with me to try to understand what's going on with the facts and not go to worst case scenario. And then at the same time, what can we do? Protesting is good. Yelling and screaming is okay. But there are things that we can do. And I sometimes think we get so caught up in the emotion that we lose sight of inspired action. And so that is the goal for today. And then let's see, we have some comments here. Let's make sure there's no swearing on them. All right. Tarot Destroyer is giving me some data. And I will take a look at that. And thank you for your comments. I did want to just take a look at this. which is the Fortune magazine map, and then their description of what is going on right now. So let's do that, and then I'll come back and take a look at what you're saying. And this is the screen share. All right, so we're looking at the national abortion landscape. This is from Fortune magazine. I think the write-up was yesterday. What day is it today? Close to yesterday. Colin Ludwig and Christine Mui. And the red states are abortions banned or likely banned, blue, protected or likely protected, and gray is uncertain. And so those of us who are pro-choice, and yes, I am biased that way, and I'll just give you, I agree. I actually spent some time looking at what Roe versus Wade, where it started, and I know Wikipedia is not perfect, but it does have, for me, a less biased description of what happened. And, this whole time I thought Roe was a person. It's actually an alias. For those of you who didn't know that, I actually asked a few people that I admire, and they also did not know. So I thought, you know what, let's talk about this on the show and learn together so that we're not reacting to worst case scenarios. So the good news is that I found out, and I hinted it on the promo, that the Justice Blackmun was actually a conservative appointed by Nixon after his first choice fell through. And he ended up being the most liberal justice. He's a white conservative. So for all those people who are saying, this is like worst case scenario, we're never going, it's going to take down everything. And I know Clarence Thomas's, what is the word? Shooting off his mouth. And if we continue to highlight what he's saying, then, we're in that worst case scenario. So I'm going to try to balance out all of that with some good news. So for me, the good news is, one, that it was a conservative justice that first wrote that opinion, and it was overturned. So if we can overturn it once, we can overturn it again. So that's my hashtag positively opinionated stuff. All right. And I want to interject that. Okay, let's see. Taro, you've got like 5 giant, okay, here we go. Frankly, I thought at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particular growth in populations that we don't want have too many of. That's Ruth. Thank you. That's great from a justice. What she said. Let's see what else we got. Children's Hospital are all made by okay, this is not what we're talking about right now. Let's see. I appreciate, Taro, your contributions. I would like a chance to sort of take a look at the sources, which is something that I really like to do, which I forgot to show you. The reason why I chose Fortune magazine, and this is what I encourage people to do, is before you post or quote or do anything, do the little research to see who is speaking. And if it's in the center, that's where I quote from. I rarely quote on either end of that. So I'm trying to follow that. That's why Fortune is in here. All right. So I am going to continue with my little education and exploration. So if we look at the map, at first, when I first looked at this, I was, depressed and happy that I lived on this side. on the West Side. And I've heard and seen some people say, I'm moving back to Canada. I was born in Canada, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to realistically look at what's going to happen. So if you see the red, those are all the states that are likely or are going to or have already. And we've seen on the news the states that have already banned abortion. Alabama does not have a trigger law, but its officials are enforcing a 2009 law that makes performing an abortion a felony. Governor Kay said Friday the state would immediately ask the court to strike down any legal barriers to enforcing this law. So that's great. Judge lifted an injunction that prevented that law from going into effect. So there's hope there in Alabama. Arkansas, she certified a trigger law banning all abortions except to save the life of the mother and making no exception for rape, or incest. So anyone who performs an abortion risks a felony charge with $100,000 fine or at least 10 years in prison. So that's not good. Kentucky also passed that trigger law in 2019, so it is effective immediately. Okay, so that's not good. Louisiana, trigger law, so that's not good. Missouri, she signed an opinion, Attorney General Eric Schmidt. So if you're in Missouri and you did not vote in this last round, you'll want to put an against vote for him. I'm hoping that people realize that we do have powers. Like, I know when I first became American after 9/11, and I would go to the booths, and if I hadn't done any research, I would, go with a name that, didn't sound dangerous, which is, I'm embarrassed to admit. But, I'm hoping that if you leave with one thing after today's show is that we do have power in our voting and where we shop. And we're going to spend a little time looking at organizations and products maybe that we don't buy anymore and send letters. I sent letters to Dianne Feinstein and Alex Padilla, and I did the voting as well to influence the bipartisan Community Safety Acts on gun reform and control. And I just got an email thanking me for my vote, and also the letter urging him to vote in that wonderful thing that got overturned and a little bit overshadowed by what's going on with Roe versus Wade. So if you read my Quora article, the fact that we can do things with our votes is, I'm always sad when I see the low percentage of voter turnout. So if you're angry and you're not voting, then it's really a waste of energy. So vote and don't shop, or shop and support organizations like Planned Parenthood, like many, and we'll go look at some of those as well. All right, so let's go back to the list. Ohio, 2019, Ohio passed its heartbeat law, which Governor Mike DeWine signed into law. Federal courts stopped the law from going into effect. With Roe's overturned, DeWine and the state's attorney are sought to lift the stay. A 6-week abortion ban is now law. So I think if I understand that, they're trying to overturn that, which is a good thing. Let's see. I'll have to look into that more. I apologize. I wanted to learn this together. Honestly, that's why we're doing this, is that I could have done all the research and just reported out, but I really wanted us to learn together. I think that's a good thing, because I rarely have time, and I'm sure you are as well. And instead of being led by the nose by whoever's posting or whatever producer is putting on the biased news that they want. I wanted us to do the research. Okay. So Oklahoma, even before his decision was made, has banned nearly all abortions since the state lawmakers approved a bill in late May. And their attorney general certified the trigger law. So Oklahoma, not good. Again, Oklahoma, people in Oklahoma who are pro-choice, you can still make a difference by voting. South Dakota passed its trigger law in 2005, went immediately into effect, according to the Guttmacher Institute. So also not good. Texas passed its trigger law last year, and the fact that Roe versus Wade was in Texas, those of you who didn't know exactly what happened, this was a landmark decision in which the Constitution of the U.S. Protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion. The decision was struck down by many federal and state abortion laws and fueled an ongoing abortion debate. Let's change so you know where I am reading from. All right. I'm going to share a different screen, and that is from Wikipedia. All right, and that's where I'm taking this from. And let's see, fueled an ongoing abortion debate in U.S. about whether or to what extent abortion should be legal, who should decide the legality of abortion, and what the role of moral and religious views in the political sphere should be. I have to make a comment here. I was talking to my dad last night. I'm like, I thought one of the strong amendments, strong laws, and you'll have to excuse, I was born in Canada, raised there, so if I sound stupid on American law, that's my excuse. But if there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, why is the religious view that fuels so much of this particular issue, according to the Bible or Christianity and the moral stance, abortion's wrong, you shouldn't kill the fetus, but that's a religious view. So how does that become so strong? And I thought there was supposed to be a separation. So if you have an explanation for that and how that has been allowed, same with gay rights. So it's so tied with religion, and I am allergic to religion, so that is my bias. I don't believe in a punishing, angry, don't love, I love except for this group, and that group. How did we get here? Like that perplexes me as an American by choice. All right. So back to this, the case was brought by Norma McCorvey. So Roe is like a version of Jane Doe. I didn't know that either. So it's a fictitious name to protect Norma Lee Nelson McCorvey. Jane Roe was the plaintiff in that case. So I learned about that. I was not, I didn't realize that was what Roe was referring to until I read this. And then, let's see, I wanted to show you also Harry Blackmun. This I found super interesting. He's the guy that wrote, the justice that wrote it, that was actually appointed by Nixon, second choice, when his first choice was knocked down. He's an American lawyer and was he was expected to vote conservative. So all those people who are concerned about the makeup, I'm not trying to get you to drink, well, I am trying to get you to drink my rose-colored Kool-Aid. Yes, Trump's unfortunate nominations and pass for justices who said they were going to be unbiased was not true. So yes, right now it doesn't look good. But I'm your hashtag positively opinionated, positive spin doctor, and it is still possible. And we're going to look at what we can do to let's not go to that worst case scenario. I hear people, oh my God, we're going to lose every single thing that we've done in the last 50 years for progress for women and gay rights. It does look bad, but there are things we can do to try to make that not happen. And as long as there's hope, I'll, re-say one of those sayings. If you're worried about all of this, worry is like a prayer for bad things to happen. And that's a Native American saying that I love. So if you're angry and worried, fine, be angry fully and be worried fully, but don't stay there. Because we need the energy. We need the positive energy to be able to move into hashtag be the change, hashtag overturn. Go and do that. And it is possible. So the cool thing about Blackmun is white, conservative, Republican, becomes the most liberal judge and Supreme Court justice to sit on the bench. I saw that somewhere. That was his title. So that's the good news. All right, let's go back to the Fortune magazine, and I'm just going to use this link now and stay here on the screen. Oh, I don't think it's going to let me do that. Let's go back here to this screen and go to the states again. All right, here we go. So we were on Texas. So Texas is where it all started, and we can make Texas where it changes again. Let's see. Clinics have stopped providing abortions, making it effectively banned. Ken Paxton, the state's attorney general, issued an advisory Friday that previously unenforceable laws are now in full effect. Under these pre-Roe statutes, abortion providers could be criminally liable for providing abortion starting today. And just like when tragedy hits on any level, I do want to send out a breath. I'm known for this. When bad things happen, I think it's important for us to recognize, and I just want to take a breath right now and release some peace and comfort to all those people whose livelihood is being affected, who in their line of work and helping women who for their choice, for their body, making decisions for their body, went to their clinics, like those are gone. And that's tough, for anyone who's losing their livelihood or their entire, what they believed in doing for their job. The good news is not all states are in that place. And this could change, just like it changed 50 years ago. It could change again. So let's have compassion and peace to those who have been negatively impacted by this huge change. And, I would encourage those states where it's still okay, those blue ones, if we go back to our map, that's hopeful. There are still places where you can have, and thank God for blue states. All right. And gray states. And those are the gray ones are the ones where your vote and where you shop is going to be extremely important. So let's see. Let's go down to those uncertain places. I'm tired of bad news for a second. Montana, Nebraska, Kansas, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and North Carolina. If you are in any of those states and listening, you have the power to turn blue. You have the power to honor the privacy and the choice of women, what they do with their bodies, which is, I go back to Blackmun. One of the reasons he did this was because he was a big believer in non-governmental control on things like women's private decisions about her life and her body. So that is still true. And so if you're listening and you're voting, let's just for this is what I want you to do is Google Montana. Let's see, voting options to overturn to support pro-choice. Let's see what that happens there. And I will go and share that as well. So this is exactly the kind of research and what you can do to make a difference. Okay, there we go. So let's see what it brought up. This is the wonder of technology. You have all your answers at your fingertips. So here we go. Ballotpedia.org, pro-choice Montana. If I go there, that's the top one. This is a 501c organization in Montana that deals with issues relating to abortion. The group stated opposition to measures such as the Montana Life Begins at Conception initiative and the November 2010 ballot. So here you've got an organization that will give you information on how you can overturn the anti-abortion. Let's see, they've got 2022 elections, Congress, state executives. They've got tons of information here. Okay, this is important. The 2023-2024 elections, the 2024 presidential election, the candidates, the congressional. Let's press one of these. So let's do the state legislative elections. So this is by state. They do all of the, so it's even beyond Montana. So there's lots of information on how you can make a difference. That's the point of this exercise. It is hopefully my intent to show you how much power you have is working. Now let me go to another Google search on this same page, and let's say companies that support pro-choice. Okay, so Adidas, Nike, and Disney join wave of companies that cover up employee abortion travel costs. So by implication, they do. These U.S., will cover costs. Companies in U.S. support women's right after abortion ruling. So let's go here. This is, make sure this is, Associated Press is on my list of center, less biased. Let's see. So they're saying McDonald's, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, General Motors, Tyson, and Marriott did not respond. Interesting. So they reached out on their views. Arkansas-based Walmart, the largest employer with good portion of its good portion of its stores in states that will immediately trigger abortion bans, also kept quiet. So for me, don't shop at Walmart. I mean, until they come out and say, I am for pro-choice, for me, that's my bias. If you are a person who is upset by the overturning of Roe versus Wade, then I would suggest that you get mad and shop differently. So I would go back to the one I just mentioned, which is these US companies will cover travel costs. So you know that they are pro-choice. Microsoft, shop at Microsoft. Apple, Meta, Yelp, Disney, Uber, Netflix, Bumble, Match, Box, Levi Strauss, Comcast, NBC, Warner Brothers Discovery, Condé Nast, JP Morgan Chase, Nike, Starbucks, yay, Dick's Sporting Good, didn't know that, Kroger, Alaska Airlines, Goldman Sachs, Zillow, HP, HPE, and Accenture. So I just listed a ton of places that you can shop, and I would write a letter and say, I'm shopping with you because of your stance on pro-choice and covering travel costs for abortion. So again, this is what we can do. Protesting, I believe that protesting has power, but I believe that voting and shopping have just as much, if not more. I get a little concerned when there's so much angry rhetoric and protesting and talking and no action that's inspired. A lot of swearing in your slogans, which, I do some news coverage, and I covered an event. I'm not going to say what it is. And I couldn't even play any of it because there was just so much swearing. And I understand the passion and the emotion. But again, protest, but put your anger into action, inspired action. And voting and shopping or not shopping are two of my strongest recommendations. So let's now go to companies. That was your shop at list. And now I'm going to companies not, so companies supporting pro-life. So I know, okay, let's see. Boycott list. That sounds like pro-life. Okay, so these are ones, the following guys have retracted their support of pro-abortion groups because of boycott letters. So I'm going to go to a site that I don't like in order to find out who they're boycotting so I can support them. Let's see. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm going here. Do not say that I am pro-choice because I am not. So in addition to Starbucks that I mentioned, Patagonia, ExxonMobil, that's a great one to know. You have a choice of where to go get your gas, go to ExxonMobil because they've been identified as pro-choice. And I think Anheuser-Busch, okay, that's cool. Visa, use Visa. Trader Joe's. Oh no, never mind. The following countries have recently retracted their support of pro-abortions because of boycott. Okay, so this is a tough one, but if they retracted, don't shop at Trader Joe's. See, now I'm going to challenge every single person who posted about how upset they are about this and ask them to put their upset where their shopping is. That means you don't shop at Trader Joe's. And I know a lot of my friends in that category who shop at Trader Joe's. And I hope that you're hearing this for the first time here on my show so that you can actually back up your upset with the power and write a letter and say Trader Joe's because I found your site on a Right to Life site as retracting. We're not shopping there anymore. All right, so pro-life companies to boycott. Let's go to the opposite side and see what happens here. Boycott. Wow, there's a lot. Now this is interesting because if you're protesting and you're not happy, the fact that the first 3 on the Google list are pro-life sites is concerning. It isn't till the 4th one that it's which corporations have come out against Texas pro-life, and this is from last year. So, we are definitely, needing to take some of the protest and get found on Google to balance out the stranglehold on the Google listing here. This is not good. So which companies, let's see. All right. GoDaddy told NPR that the tip section violated the company's, let's see. Okay. Let me go back here. I'm not understanding this. Let's see. So Lyft and Uber. So Lyft said the law that Texas pro-life heartbeat law that went into effect, this is back in 2021. So kudos to Lyft, who said the law is incompatible with people's basic right to privacy, our community guidelines, and the spirit of rideshare. So Lyft is a good company to use. Let's see. Uber said on Twitter, this company will be covering drivers' legal fees as well. Okay, so that's good. So Uber's good as well because they said they are going to drive people to abortion clinics. So that takes care of that. Let's see. Match Group said that the new law presented a danger to women, and she's setting up a fund for her Texas employees in case they are penalized by the law. Match Group is the parent company of the dating app Tinder. All right, so Tinder's still good. Match.com is good. Bumble also announced its opposition. So if you're single and using those apps, it's good if you are a pro-choice believer in the privacy of a woman's ability to make decisions that way. All right. So hopefully I have not convinced anyone to do anything, or the whole purpose of this was to move from the angry rhetoric, swearing, passionate, knee-jerk, emphasis on jerk reactions that are happening across our state, and put some teeth into the anger in doing things you can actually do to make a difference. Again, I'm not against protesting. I'm not against being angry. I have always said, let's feel our feelings fully. Am I emotional? Yes. Am I upset? Yes. But it is my discipline to move pretty quickly from that upset, which impacts my immune system. It impacts my ability to be creative because it suppresses my ability to feel and allow inspired action. Because when I'm in the vibration of problem, I cannot receive answers to solution. When I focus on how bad things are, more bad things are shown to me. If I focus on where I can make a difference, then more ideas and possibilities happen for that. So that is why I did this particular show. It is not, I know I've already gotten criticism. I will continue to get criticism for that, but I refuse to get on the bandwagon of just chanting. It to me, it is it's protesting plus inspired action. It is getting angry and then taking that emotion and transmuting it into helpful voting, helpful shopping, where I can support companies who are taking a stand for the privacy of a woman's life. So hopefully this was not I don't have probably a lot of listeners who are in the red state who are pro-life. And that's another thing that I wanted to address before we go off the air is we've gone through a lot that seems to even separate us more now than we've ever been separated. We used to be able to talk about anything and agree to disagree. And, in the pandemic, I did a timeline in my Quora article that looked at, what we've gone through just in the last year. So I'll say March 2020, pandemic, loss. April 2020, mask mandate. So we've got angry pro-maskers, angry against maskers. May 2020, George Floyd is murdered. So now we've got black versus white, Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. January 2021, Capitol Hill, we're fighting white supremacy. So on all those things, like I unfriended anti-maskers in April. I unfriended those against BLM in May 2020. I unfriended MAGA and QAnon conspiracists in January 2021. I unfriended anti-vaxxers in February 2021. In March 2021, I unfriended Asian haters. In May 2022, I unfriended NRA lovers. In June 2022, I'm unfriending religious and political haters of pro-choice. So my friend list has gone through quite the spring cleaning and all of these events. And I've lost the ability to connect with people who don't think like I do. And it's a hard one for me because I don't agree with those who don't agree with me. At the same time, I'm reminded of someone who was a guest on my show who used to be the head of the KKK in Europe. And he said to me that, if he was hated, then there was no place to go when he wanted to change. There was no place to go when he was asking questions. And I think we do need to develop the skill of being able to speak bipartisan. As much as I just said all those things to boycott and also vote in the way that is pro-choice, at the same time, can we find a way to be bipartisan on issues that, like we did with the gun violence? So I hope I gave you some things to think about today. I know that this might not sit well with a lot of people. I meditated on whether I should do this, and the voice said yes. So I'm putting myself out there. Those of you like William this morning and Colleen and people who have been my longtime supporters who know what I do, and the purpose of what I do is to balance out and to look for best case scenarios so that we can make the changes we want to see, and at the same time not come from hate. And I'll end with a quote from my beautiful daughter, Sarah. When she was 8 years old, she came and said, "Mom, how do we get to peace through war?" And it hurts my heart when I see all of the anger and spewing that is not productive in our ability to move to peace and to move to positive change at all levels. So hopefully I've appealed, and I'm not apologizing for getting emotional, because tears are are the disinfectant that keep my heart soft. I hope that you share this if you are someone who feels helpless in what we can do during this time. And thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room. Remember that it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go out and have the best day ever.